Hey guys!
Hi,
You're listening to Not As We Planned, so get ready for
honest,
raw,
unfiltered,
unhinged story,
where we share our advice, opinions,
and talk about all the shit that people avoid discussing. We want to point out we are not qualified professionals, although I feel like I am one.
and what we say is the advice we would give to our besties.
Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Not As We Planned.
You are fantastic. How are you today?
Fine. I was literally
Fine.
I'm
Fine.
As we were sitting here, like about to record, I was like, update, and then I'm like, yeah, no, cool. Like, I have no life. I have nothing to update. Any dates on the horizon, or are we?
We're keeping cards close to our chest this time round.
Okey-dokey.
I think as well, like someone said to me, no, my friend actually sent me something yesterday when we were out. And about dating. And she said, where did she forward it? So there's a thread and it's about, should you date multiple men at the same time? Mm-hmm. So obviously I've made it very clear, like my approach to this, I'm normally like very much like one person at a time. Mm-hmm. I feel like investing my energy in that person, really getting to know them. I think it's just something I've always done. I think it's just me as a type of person. But I did want to share this thread because just think it is interesting. So
are you changing your mind?
I don't know.
Okay.
Should you date multiple men at the same time? 1, if you're not exclusive, yes. Not to be spiteful, not to play the game, but to protect your energy and stay out of delusion. Dating one man at a time, especially in the early stages, often leads women to attach too fast before a man has even earned her. 2, let's be real. You go on one date, he's tall, smells good, opens your door. You delete your dating apps, start daydreaming and get emotionally loyal to a man who still calls you hun. That's not love, that's fantasy and it's dangerous. Multiple options keep you grounded. I do really understand this as well, like that. I think sometimes like you can see so many like positive things in someone when you start dating them, and then almost in your head without realizing you're like fantasizing what your life could be with them, like how that might look.
I think the only thing that I would say, and obviously I know you're going to carry on, but if I started talking to someone, I'm just putting myself in the situation that I was in with my boyfriend when we started talking. We matched, we started talking, really liked like where the conversation was going. It was really good. And we spoke for 2 weeks before we met. If I found out that, obviously we weren't exclusive, but if I found out that like after the date that we went on, he had another one the day before or the week before me, yeah, I'd be a bit like, he's obviously not for me because I'm not enough to keep him.
I know. And I don't know where I stand yet.
Okay, carry on.
I'm going to carry on. I haven't actually read the whole thread through, but she sent it. We were talking about this last night. 3, dating more than one man doesn't mean sleeping with all of them. I fucking hope not. No.
Can you imagine?
Ugh. It means observing, comparing communication styles, seeing who's consistent, watching who plans dates, who flakes, who steps up. You're not building a roster, you're building clarity, because when you only talk to one man, you tolerate too much. 4, examples. Guy A takes you to dinner and follows up the next day. Guy B only texts you at night. Guy C books something for next weekend without being asked. Now imagine if you were only talking to B, you'd think the bare minimum was normal.
No, see, I disagree. I think this is someone that hasn't done the work.
Yeah, no, I agree, but it's interesting. But when you're in your feminine receiving energy, you let them reveal themselves. No pressure, no rushing, no obsession. 5, men do it silently and smoothly. They'll date 3 women whilst telling you, I'm not seeing anyone else seriously. Meanwhile, you're over here emotionally loyal, cooking for a man who still doesn't know your birthday. The truth is, dating more than one man gives you power, not ego power, emotional balance. But here's the catch. Don't lie. Don't play fake poly mind games. Don't start arguments to compare them. You're not committed to any of them yet. You're simply choosing from abundance. You're learning how different men show up. You're staying grounded in reality instead of getting lost in potential. And I think that's really key, the potential thing. So should you date multiple men at the same time if you're single? Yes, until one of them says, I want to be serious, I want to claim this, I want to give you the consistency you deserve. And until then, you're not for the streets, you're just for yourself.
Can I be honest? I think that's a really toxic thread. I think that you could potentially lose a good guy because he doesn't like that you're dating multiple people, which I think is valid on their part.
Yeah,
I think that my boyfriend wouldn't have given me the time of day if he knew I was dating multiple people. Look what I would be missing. I feel like that thread is what the problem is with online dating and current dating situations now.
I don't think necessarily I would date multiple people at a time. I think talking and seeing which ones make it through to me wanting to see them.
Before I went on a date with my ex-boyfriend, I went on a date with someone else 2 days before him, and the chat overlapped slightly.
Right.
But the minute I met my ex-boyfriend, I didn't give anyone else the time of day.
I get that.
I don't like this, like, number A, like, A did this and B did that. So hold on, like, I don't know. For me, that is literally just like what people do on the apps, where you're talking to multiple people and then you don't speak to one because the other one's offering more at the moment. But at the end of the day, that beginning stage, you're showing your best part anyway.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't like that.
I think for me, it's more, I used to be very much like speaking to one person at a time. Like, that's the extent I used to take it to. It'd be
but do you know what I think it is? Sometimes I feel like it naturally happens
because they probe your interest. Like, the conversation's easy.
And I
you're
think
more
that
drawn to that.
shows.
I agree,
But I feel like
don't
being
think
on apps, being on dating apps, you are going to be talking to multiple people initially.
Yeah.
And then you spark a conversation with one person and then you're like, I'm giving them my time.
I do also think this is slightly different as well. Like, I feel like I'm dating as a single parent who has my kids 75% of the time. I have 4 kid-free evenings a fortnight. Like, it's not a lot. And I'm not willing to dedicate my 4 evenings to men.
Yeah.
So I feel like I don't actually have the physical allowance to do that. Like, and so for me, it is like the case of, I think I'll try and engage in more conversations to try and understand people better. I do think I've probably been very cutthroat before. Like, someone might say something slightly wrong and I'll be like, not my person.
Yeah.
But I personally don't feel like, and I know it's just me, or it's not just me, but I know no matter how much I try to convince myself, go on a date here, go on a date there, like, it's just not what I'm like.
I also always believe, like, treat others how you want to be treated. How would you feel if a guy that you were talking to that you feel like it was a good vibe was actually also having the same conversation with someone else, planning a date with them and taking them out the day before you?
It's the same place.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. It was interesting.
I feel like that's very...
So we were talking about it last night because she was like, you're very much like, I feel like you talk to someone, you date that person, like, even though you're not exclusive, because I haven't been...
You act it.
Not necessarily act it, but that's just... I think
that's
where
the right way to be.
I have quite old school values with things. And again, yeah, similar to what you said, like, that's how I'd want to be treated. I can only go off their word, but that was my situation. I was seeing someone, I don't believe he was seeing anyone else. And I really feel like that allowed me to fully get to know him to see if we're compatible. And I know, like, obviously,
you know how it said on that thing, if you're only dating that one person, you'll probably think that option B is okay.
I don't think
we'd be like that because we've done enough work on ourselves. So I think, if anything, don't date multiple people. Date yourself first, know what you want, and then bin off the people that give you the bare minimum.
I do agree with that. Yeah, that's it.
Do you know what? I think you guys, we want to hear from you. We're asking you, reach out to us. Do you think you should date multiple men at the same time?
I also feel like me and Tash aren't very experienced in dating.
No.
So I know, like, just the way I've dated and probably the way I will continue to date. Like,
I'm all for the talking stage.
Yeah, I think I still count that as, like, the dating experience.
I mean more so like when you're
Going
on the
out.
apps and it hasn't gone to WhatsApp yet.
Oh, no.
Like, when you're on the apps, you're talking to multiple people.
You have to.
I'm not going to match with one person and be like ignoring everyone
No,
else.
no,
like,
no,
do you know what I mean?
no.
Even sometimes when one goes on to WhatsApp, you're still on the apps a bit.
Yeah,
I think it's when you
100%.
meet that person and you're like, oh, do you know what? That was a really good first date. I might actually hold off on those other dates that I've got in the diary.
100%. That's, yeah. That's
Let
where
us know, guys. I want to
am.
know. I actually think we should even put a question box on our...
That's where I'm at with things. I think if I match with someone who's got a good chat, again, for me, I would FaceTime, see if the vibe's there. I wouldn't be interested in then trying to...
Try and book a date in with someone else.
Or even book another FaceTime in with someone if that person's caught my attention.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. But yeah, just thought we were just having the conversation last night because I think as a friendship group, we do have quite different approaches to dating. It's just really interesting. I mean, we're all fucking single, so.
Do you know what? I also don't feel like there is a right or wrong.
No, I think everyone's different as well. What feels good to you?
Yeah,
and like,
because
I'm not here judging you if you go on like multiple dates with people.
I think
Maybe
the
that works
people-
better for you.
I think the people that probably do the multiple dates are the ones that are very much like going with it for the experience. They don't want to meet anyone serious yet, and they're just out to have a good time.
Or they're just trying to figure out what. That's another thing. I feel like some people are trying to figure it out what it is they're looking for. I'm very clear on what it is I'm looking for. So not that I have like a tick list and a little Excel spreadsheet where I'm like, this person.
Why lying?
I probably should, to be honest.
Should we make
But I
one?
do feel like as soon as someone, like, don't get me wrong, like I have my big values and my idealities, and then I have my, I guess, less important things that, not that are like, they're not the non-negotiables. They're the things that I feel like I should be more open-minded about, and that's definitely what this dating thing.
What do you feel like in your dating experience now? You've had that were non-negotiables that are no longer non-negotiables.
Having female friends,
Interesting. So that's no longer a non-negotiable for you.
like, I'm okay with it.
Okay.
Which is really weird, and like, it's really interesting because obviously, like, my last dating experience didn't go anywhere, but actually, like, it taught me so much about myself, and I think it's all comes down to like the way that person reassures you, or even like the way they are.
Yeah.
Like, that really didn't bother me.
Yeah. When you say female friends, do you mean like, because I know that he worked predominantly with women. So my ex-boyfriend only worked with women. And
Most of his friends are through his work, but
and I was fine with that. But how would you feel about like if they like went out for a day with that friend? Like, are we talking just like being around women work-wise,
like,
or
he would-
actually socialising with
yeah,
a woman? Like, my
socialising,
friend
but
came over.
again. That didn't bother me. Yeah, that happened whilst we were seeing each other, and like, hand on heart, genuinely didn't bother me. Like, we had quite in-depth conversations about, like, I said to him, like, I've never really been in a situation where someone I'm dating has had female friends. I feel this type of way about it, and it was actually so interesting to hear it from someone else's point of view. I think someone who'd grown up around a lot of females, someone in an industry surrounded by a lot of females. It was just really, I don't know, it did make
Opened
me
your
think.
eyes.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's just, I do think it very much comes down to that person. I think there'd be
Yeah.
other people where I wouldn't fucking trust with a barge pole with that.
What
So,
else?
Oh God, I feel like I'm on the spot now.
It's just interesting because I feel like you said, like these dating experience change maybe how we date.
I think even just like the regularity of how much contact I have with someone. I think with my ex-boyfriend, we were very much in contact a lot throughout the day. And actually, I think I quite like having a bit more space personally. And I think everyone's different. But I think it allowed me to be more productive and more focused on me rather than, I think as well, like a lot of it's probably got to do with like where I was mentally. But I think my previous relationship consumed so much of like my excitement about life, whereas I feel like because like the last guy I was dating wasn't very heavily involved in my day to day, I can't really explain it. I'd like more than what I had, but we weren't in a relationship. But it's just shown me like I don't need to be in constant contact with someone the whole time to know someone's into me.
What are your thoughts now on if you had a preference right now, if your person had kids or didn't? Because I know obviously
I don't know.
Really?
I'm still, it's very much dependent on the person.
So you don't have a preference?
No, and dating someone without kids hasn't put me off dating someone without kids. I think it's just a case of like, just not my person, and that's cool.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm not looking for one or the other. I think it all is going to come down to who it is. So, I mean, watch this space. Hopefully I'll get married one day. But anyway, should we get to some emails?
Let's get
I feel
into
like you
some
should start. I feel like I'm
emails.
shut
Let's
up.
do this. Okay, we're going to start off with a little update. Do you remember the subject, a boss, a gay male boss, and a stripper?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Hi, ladies. I hope you're well. You may remember I wrote to you last year about my ex, episode 70, I think. Let's call him Fred, because calling him what I want to call him might get this email flagged. My friend and I also came to a live event back in February and had an absolute blast. And I updated you there that I went against your advice and reached out to the other woman. But we were already looking forward to the next live event. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Watch this space. Anyway, on to the update. Remember that predicament I had? Fred was still whispering sweet nothings while I had a gut feeling he was off being sweet to someone else too. You advised me not to reach out to the woman I suspected he was seeing. I really tried to follow that advice, I promise. But then his best friend messaged me randomly to check in. Translation, messy breadcrumb from the universe. I took it as my moment, played it cool, and casually let slip that I knew about Fred and the woman from work. And what do you know? Confirmation, without even asking directly. He walked right into it. Men are so thick. Simple souls. So, I messaged her. She responded immediately. We got on the phone, and after some polite awkwardness, she told me Fred had wanted to tell me himself about their relationship and for her to hold off telling anyone about them. Sure, right after pigs fly over his uncle's house. He lives in his uncle's house, or maybe wife and kids, who knows. I gently let her know that this wasn't about him being in a new relationship. It was about the fact that he'd been in a relationship with me for 2 years while shopping around for strippers and attention. Literally, we broke up because he flirted with a stripper, exchanged numbers with her, and then came home to me and my kids on Christmas Day. Ugh. Merry awkwardness. Turns out she thought I was just a casual fling who wanted more from him. Lol. Oh he was feeding her the same recycled stories he fed me 2.5 years ago. His mum just moved back from France, helping with her house, living with his uncle, paying his ex's mortgage, yada yada. Same lies, new audience, and just 2.5 years later. We met for lunch and swapped war stories. The overlap was wild. No. She'd already seen red flags and thanked me for reaching out. We still keep in touch, bonded by mutual horror and disbelief. As for Fred, after she called it a day with him, he kept messaging me for months afterwards. Poetic confessions, promises he made when we were together, and declarations of undying love that expired quickly once I didn't fall for them. He's the kind of guy who could pass a lie detector test while reading a bedtime story. Charming face, rugby player body, emotionally vacant soul, an emotionless pie-faced wrapped in protein powder. Dead. Anyway, I'm out. Wiser, lighter, and with way better taste in men. I feel sorry for the next woman who falls for the act. He'll probably be old, bitter, and still living with that uncle. After all, I never did meet any of his family.
Wow.
Thanks again for your advice. Even if I took the scenic route, sometimes you just got to go with your gut. Expose a liar whilst you're at it. Keep doing what you're doing. I love it. And one day I'll write in about the divorce, as that's just mental. However, 3 years on, my divorce came through last month.
Congrats.
And I'm off to Greece with my new man, who seems to be rather different to my usual type. Emotionally available for one, and a present dad. I'll save that one for another day. Much love to you both.
Gives me hope.
Oh, I love that.
I love
Thank you for
that.
the update. And yes, we cannot. Do you know what? Please sending about the ex-husband. We want to hear that. And hope you have a lovely holiday with your lovely man.
Hell yeah. Okay. Rebuilding myself after court and co-parenting challenge. Hi, Tash and Carly. I've been listening to your podcast for over a year now, and I just want to say how much I appreciate it. On the weekends when my 2 girls are with their dad and the house feels a bit too quiet, listening to you both makes me feel less alone.
Okay.
A little about me. I was with my ex-husband for 10 years, married for 2. Our first daughter arrived in 2018, and while I embraced becoming a mum after the initial shock, but unfortunately, he really struggled to accept the pregnancy. When I told him about being pregnant, he locked himself in the bathroom for 3 hours and refused to talk to me for over a month.
Is he aware that he had unprotected sex? Is he aware of the repercussions?
Maybe he missed out on sex education at school.
Like, this is what winds me up when these men suddenly
know how
turn
it
around and they're like,
works.
I'm not ready to be a dad. Then fucking wrap up.
The pregnancy was very lonely and he had very little interest. 2 months after he was born, I discovered he was having an affair. And it started when I found out about the pregnancy. And of course, it was someone we both worked with. another one.
Another
which
one.
answered a lot of answers as to why he was so cold and uninterested during the pregnancy. I left, moved back to the UK, and eventually we found a way to co-parent well for our daughter's sake. I sent a message through Instagram to her new husband, and he responded with, well, it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last. To her new husband.
Confused.
Oh, to the woman he was having the affair with, who had recently got married.
Oh.
Yeah. And he said, well, it's not the first time, and it probably won't be the last.
Oh, shit. So she went and snitched.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Process.
Yeah.
In 2022, after building a strong co-parenting friendship, after years of working through the anger and upset, we decided to have another baby. Yeah.
Hold on.
No. Wait.
But they're co-parenting.
Co-parenting. Use the word as okay.
Sorry. So they were separated. They're co-parenting, and now they're having a baby.
We decided to have another baby. We agreed to do an at-home insemination to keep things uncomplicated.
Hold on, what? This requires a marshmallow. Hold on a minute. I'm confused. Want one?
No.
Read it again.
They're co-parenting, but you decided to have another baby. Doesn't that, am I being really stupid? Is that home insemination just mean you're having sex?
I'm literally picturing like a turkey baster.
Right. Our second daughter was born last year, but history repeated itself. During my pregnancy, he became distant, and I found out that he had started a new relationship during the pregnancy, which was fine.
Hold on, I'm so confused.
Right, can you put the marshmallow? You're actually stressing me out. All I can hear is you eating marshmallows, and it's overstimulating.
I'm
my
sorry.
brain.
I'm stress eating.
Our second daughter was born last year, but history repeated itself. During my pregnancy, he became distant, and I found out he had started a new relationship during the pregnancy, which was fine. No, it's not. This is not fine.
Carry on.
And I accepted that as we were not together, but it would have been nice to have been informed whilst carrying his baby. Move on 6 months after she was born, I was shocked to receive court papers through the letterbox for 50-50 custody. No mention of this before this date.
Okay, so really quickly, it's obviously like the second child that they had. They chose
we
to have it
co-parent-
together.
We co-parent well.
So we're gonna
Let's have another one.
But they didn't do it through sex. They did it through like
insemination.
Yeah,
Which
that.
I'm not really sure what is that.
I think it's literally like a tray,
Sperm.
like mix in a bowl.
Push it up. Lay there. Legs in the air.
Yeah, like you just don't care.
Anyway.
And it's fine that he was having a relationship. You just wish that he'd be a bit more open with the communication.
Okay, look, everyone's different. At that point, he had never even had our youngest overnight because I was breastfeeding, and had our eldest at the weekend for 2 nights. I believe the court papers were off the back of my email to him a few months before, asking if and when he was going to start paying child maintenance for his second daughter, as she was then 3 months old and he hadn't paid a penny towards her
That's why he wants 50-50, so
Or
he doesn't
bought-
have to pay.
or bought any baby items. This email was greeted with a nasty response stating she can use her sister's hand-me-downs.
Oh, stunning.
The following weekend, he introduced our eldest daughter to his new girlfriend he had been dating for a month that I didn't even know existed. I got upset about this because it was not part of our agreement, but we had made as co-parents. After a long court process, the arrangement was set to every other weekend, a midweek night, and half of the holidays, with the gradual transition set in place for overnights for our youngest. I thought once the court process was finished, we'd be able to focus on parenting peacefully. Instead, things between us are now extremely toxic. I'm left feeling hurt, mistrustful, and honestly full of resentment. I struggle to imagine a future where I feel content in a relationship again and able to trust someone again. When I look around at friends and family, so many seem unhappy with the support they get from their partners too. I guess I'm reaching out because I don't want to feel stuck in this anger or hopelessness. I'd love to hear your thoughts on how to start moving forwards, rebuild and trust in myself, and maybe one day in others. Thank you for creating a space that feels safe, honest, and real.
Wow, that email's thrown me. That's
We've
definitely
never heard
nothing
anything
we've ever
really
heard
like
before. I want to understand, like, how, like, I guess you weren't upset that he was seeing someone else during your pregnancy. You just wanted him to tell you. I feel like lines are really blurred with your relationship. I've got to be honest. Like, it's not, I understand it's not the norm. So I'm not saying that it's not okay because it's not normal, because in this day and age, what the hell is normal? But I feel like you've taken your healthy co-parenting relationship to an extreme of choosing to have another baby together when you're not together. I feel like some boundaries seriously need to be put in place to realise that, like, this relationship is very much over, and really try and lead, like, separate lives. Like,
Yeah, it does sound it does sound really confusing, and I guess as well, obviously, like, it is tricky. I think it's really hard. That's it. I do think it is like a lack of boundaries, a lack of really knowing, like, almost like a definition of what this relationship is. I think it is very confusing, and it is frustrating when someone, like, you know, you get court paper through or something like that. I can imagine that's really frustrating.
do you know what else it
don't
is?
really know what advice to
You know
give.
when we've, like, had situations in the past where people are talking about their co-parenting relationship and they're maybe doing, like, weekends together still, and, like, lines are a bit blurred. Things always get complicated once one person gets another partner.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like this is a prime example of that. Like, things that are much easier when neither of you have someone else, but when you do, like, I just don't feel like it's likely
Ever
for
gonna
your
work.
relationship to be able to continue the way it was.
Yeah, I agree.
And I feel like this is where you now need to, like, really draw a line and put things in place that you haven't already. That's still slightly blown my mind, I've got to be honest.
Yeah.
Hard to give advice when I'm so thrown in the deep end here.
Like, just putting myself in your shoes, like, my worst nightmare would be have another baby with someone co-parenting.
Yeah, like, the amount I've got is enough. Goodbye.
Yeah.
But I hope you sort it out, and please keep us updated.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
And also, don't feel like you're not going to be able to be with someone again or trust someone again. Like, this relationship isn't a normal thing, and I think that maybe it's time to start reflecting on that and doing some work on yourself, and
Yeah, I
not being
agree.
okay with that situation. This is called Life Imploded: Divorce, Infidelity, Lies, and 2 Young Children.
Grim.
Hi. First, can I just say how happy you all look, and that is amazing. Secondly, I'm currently going through a nasty divorce. I have nasty in-laws and have been a victim of emotional abuse for years. My husband had an affair and his mother knew.
Ooh.
We have 2 young children who currently don't even ask about him. They saw him for what he and who he is, and know how awful he can be. He is a drinker too, and they used to come downstairs in the morning to count the cans that he'd left out.
Wow.
The betrayal, the lies, the heartbreak, the fear, it is all so overwhelming. He left us with nothing, emptied the bank. How did you survive? More importantly, how did you find the love of your life after your divorce? Oh, that's it.
I haven't. I am the love of my life. Interesting. Okay. So I think it's all about doing the work, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like, first of all, and I'm not just saying this as, like, almost like a marketing ploy, but I feel like you do need to get the journal. I feel like we really outline everything that needs to be done in order to find yourself, get over the person that you're sort of obsessing over, romanticizing. I'm intrigued to know how young your children are, because she said, and 2 young children. For them to be like, for them to have been in a situation where they're so aware of, like, the drinking, and
Yeah.
it's sad. Emptied the bank. I mean, I think you just got to count yourself lucky that you've drawn a line here and it's not just going to continue.
Carry on. Yeah. As well, like, yeah, I think, like, we put a lot of pressure on trying to find the love of our lives.
Yeah.
And, like, I think one thing I've definitely realised is it's you can't meet the love of your life till you're mentally in the right place, till you've done the work, till you've healed the bits of you that only you can heal. And also, like, we need to stop putting all this pressure on the fact that, like, your life is only going to be deemed successful when you find the love of your life, when you're with a partner. Like, that is obviously a lot of people. And I for one, am one of those people. Like, one of my goals in life is to share my life with someone. I'd absolutely love that. But I've also made peace with the fact that I'm very content as I am. I have so much, like, going for me. I've got a lot of exciting things, you know, to look forward to that's not defined by a man. So whether or not there's a man here or not, it doesn't define my happiness. It would only add to it. And I think we need to stop placing all this pressure on, if I meet the right person equals success and I will be happy and live happily ever after. Like, actually, men just mostly cause fucking drama. So part of me is considering just not
Becoming a lesbian.
No, not even that. Just like, I don't know at the moment.
I feel like your email, your most important question, because you put, more importantly, how did you find love after divorce? I understand you wanting to know the answer to that, because I think back in the day, like, that's all I wanted was want to get over him and meet the love of my life. But I feel like Carly said, I think obsessing over meeting someone new probably shows that you're not ready to do it yet. I think that you need to find that happiness in yourself, in your situation, on your own. And then just meeting someone is adding value, not the reason for your happiness.
I massively agree with that.
So I think take that from this situation, go and get the journal, do some work on yourself, do the journaling, do the vision boards, like, create the ideal life that you want, not relying on one man to do that for you.
I agree with that. Okay, this one is called Happily Ever After Eventually. Hi girls, I've listened to your pod from the beginning and it was an absolute lifeline when my marriage broke down in summer 2023. I was with my now ex-husband for 10 years and we have 2 boys together who are now 1 and 3 who were 1 and 3 when we split, same as me. And 2023, is this me? Did I write in? I'm not happily ever after. Honestly, I know you can relate. It was the most traumatic time of my life. I wasn't happy, but equally, when the life you thought you had for the rest of your life gets thrown off a cliff, it is the most horrendous feeling in the world. Even if you did see it coming, nothing quite prepares you. Cutting a long story short, he's not my person. He's a narcissist who gaslit me constantly, couldn't be faithful, and who, quite frankly, didn't want the family life we created. Within a year, I had got divorced. I let him apply and pay for that, dickhead, and bought my own house, and I've honestly never been happier. I have reconnected with an old friend from when I was a teenager, and we are literally so in love and happy. It's healed my heart in places I didn't know I needed it. Co-parenting can be really difficult, and I miss them so much when they aren't with me. I know it's important for them to have a good relationship with their dad and his family too, but I think that is something I'm learning to accept as time goes on because I have no choice. There is a lot more to my story, but I just wanted to share my story briefly with anyone going through separation, divorce, heartache of any kind with young children, that I know it seems impossible, but things really do get better. Hang on in there because good things are coming your way. Thanks for everything, girls. I listen every week and adore you both. Lots of love.
Oh, that's nice when you hear, like, I think anyone that's going through it or been through it, I feel like it's emails like that that just feed you a bit of hope.
It gives you a bit of hope that, like, you could come across that connection if that's what you're looking for at any point in your life. That just because I remember, like, in those really, really early days, it is literally like you can't see past it. And I think I've really started thinking about it recently because I've got a friend who's going through it, and everything she's going through just, like, reminded me of, like, how I felt. Like, the whole, like, I don't understand. Like, I had a day where I just kept bursting out crying, and I'm really annoyed at myself because I've had, like, a week where I've been fine, and it's like, I was like, I promise you, like, I relate to it so much. And just for anyone listening who really is in those early stages where even getting out of bed's a fucking struggle, like, this should be your pinnacle of hope that thousands of us have gone through it and we're here, we're thriving, we're happy, we're looking back, and actually, like, I think so many of us are grateful for what we've gone through and the growth it's allowed us to do. I know that's certainly where I'm at in my life. Like, I've not necessarily found my happily ever after, but I'm still in such a positive place, like so much happier than I was when I was married. So much, like I've done so much growth in the last 2.5 years, and I'm so grateful for everything that's come my way. Even if, look, it's not put me in the relationship I'm ultimately going to end up in, I'm still very grateful and can still look at things really positively. And that is, you know, a combination of time, but putting time in to do the work. And I think that's really going to be the difference to anyone listening to this who's thinking, how am I ever going to be happy again and feel positive and excited for life?
Yeah, no, thank you for that. I think that a lot of people that listen to this, they are trying to get hope. So appreciate that email. Thank you so much. Okay, this one is called Fucking Incompetent Parent. Okay. Hi, ladies. Of course, I'll start by saying thank you for everything you have done for the single parent community. I was on Patreon Zoom this week feeling a weird mixture of starstruck, but also like I was on a call with my friends, which was nice. My story is about 13 years in the making. We've been on and off again in so many times I've lost count. I met my child's father through friends, and we knew each other for quite a long time before we got together. I also found him endearing. Once you get to know him, he's so much fun, but to outsiders, I think he comes across as a bit odd. But I didn't care because we were in love and we had so much fun together. And what I've come to realise is he's a nice guy, a good dad, but a fucking shocking partner. And I've taken a step back through our separation, a fucking incompetent parent, to put it lightly. I understand that those statements may contradict each other, but he is a big kid himself, so of course our children adore him and want to be with him always, but he is not able to actually care for her. I got pregnant just before COVID hit. We didn't live together. He lived with his elderly mother, I know, red flag, and I was a key worker during COVID, so we actually didn't physically see each other for around 2 to 3 months. And to be honest, I think this may have been the beginning of our unravelling. I moved in a week before my due date, and things were bumpy to begin with. A newborn, broken sleep, getting used to lives with not only my other half, but his mother too. I'd hate that.
Yes, I'm.
Well, 5 years later, and in March this year, I called it quits on the relationship. He has been selfish, incompetent, have I said this already? And has gradually made less and less effort and made lots of decisions not to put me or my feelings first. And this has gradually worn me down to the point where I actually don't like him very much anymore. So here's the part I need help advice on. Although we split in March, we are still sharing a living space. In fact, we are still sharing a bed.
Oh.
And of course, I'm still living with my mother-in-law.
Oh.
I thought she was going to say sharing a bed with her mother-in-law.
She's in
Like
the middle
Charlie
of
in
them.
the Chocolate Factory. Due to circumstances, I'm not able to move out until I have funds from a property that I own but rent out, freed up to allow me to do so. Because I have capital, I'm not able to claim benefits to rent. And because there are 5 of us in the house, there isn't enough room for me to live in the interim. Because I can't stand him anymore and he seemingly chooses every day to opt out of adulting, parenting, I'm finding myself becoming quite toxic towards him and sometimes in front of my child. Nothing too awful, but comments that I find myself regretting, and my stress levels are rising when I'm around him. How do I keep this under control when I'm around him? How do you live with someone you no longer actually like? I'm well aware that this is all going to be affecting my child, and I'd like to shield her from this as much as I possibly can. We haven't told her anything yet. I'm not able to move out, but I think it would be confusing for her. Any thoughts, advice, anything you think that would be helpful? Thanks again, ladies, for all that you do.
That's a really tough situation.
Sharing a bed with someone that you don't want to.
There's got to be some other kind of arrangement you can come up with. Even if it's like getting an airbed. I would rather sleep on
But
an
I don't think the bed situation is what's causing the conflict and the problem. It's like
No,
just
but
being
that's-
together.
It's not a normal or healthy.
But the thing is, she's
situation
pretty
to
much
be
said
in.
that she can't rent.
To anyone else she could stay with. I would rack my brains. I would like be contacting my friend who I went to primary school with, like over staying with my ex-husband and their mother-in-law.
Yeah, it's not.
I just think it's really unhealthy for you. I think as well, like I just imagine like you go into that situation, you go into that house, you're already on that like that anxiety is going off. You're not feeling safe and comfortable. And I really believe like home should be a place where you feel safe and it's a waiting game for you. You're waiting for everything to go through so you've got funds that release. And I think in terms of like protecting your mental health and like, I feel like again, like children are very receptive and what's the word I'm looking for?
Resilient,
No.
sponge.
Yeah, like they absorb the environment, and even though like it's not a great environment, but that's having a negative impact. And I just wonder if there are any other potential options to explore.
The thing is, you've got one of two options. You either do something in order to be able to find a way to move,
Yeah.
even if that is literally like sleeping on the sofa at a friend's
And
house,
selling photos of your feet.
or you seriously start learning to bite your tongue. Because if you're going to start being toxic in front of your daughter, that's actually on you.
Mm-hmm. So either remove yourself from that situation.
Yeah, or keep your mouth shut, which I can appreciate is fucking hard to do. I'm not saying that that's for the faint-hearted, but the situation you're in is
If it was me, I'd be finding any other possible option.
Yeah, because
Personally.
also, even if you are on someone's sofa, you'll probably be happier, you'll probably feel lighter, and then that will also
It's all
reflect
temporary.
on your daughter.
It's all temporary.
Yeah. Please keep us updated. Let us know, but try and get out.
Okay.
Oh.
I've got a confession of the week.
Got a
and
confession of the week.
It's bad.
Is it?
If you wrote this in. Okay. I told my best friend I couldn't stand her boyfriend. But the truth is, I've been sleeping with him for months. The worst part, she still vents to me about how distant he feels lately, whilst I already know exactly where he's been.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that's we've not had one like that quite, have we? That's
I don't.
we're not giving advice right now. We're just opening to confessions, right? Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, good fucking luck getting out of that one. I don't really know what to say.
I'm lost words.
Okay, so affirmation of the week.
Don't cheat. Don't sleep with your friend's boyfriend.
I will not sleep with my friend's boyfriend.
Okay, hold on. Okay, affirmation of the week, people. Are we ready? I deserve a love that excites me, respects me, and chooses me every single day.
Can I get a hell yeah?
Amen.
Damn right. I'm
for
here for that energy.
Yeah.
That is.
Project that.
Project that out to the universe.
Always. Thank you guys
Always.
so much. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, share it on your Instagram. Go and tell a mate. Go and tell your mother-in-law.
I put it in a WhatsApp group.
Why not? Anyway, love you. Bye.
Bye.